Hey, gospel community leaders, I just recorded this, and the whole time the microphone was turned off. So hopefully I do better this time. Maybe I'll articulate it better this time since I've had some practice, some run through. This is for all our gospel community leaders, but specifically and timely for those of us. Hey, dude. Specifically for those of us who are launching new groups tonight. Josh and Victor tonight and Tom tomorrow. You guys have an opportunity to instill in your group from day one this vision for multiplication. There's two things that are important. Mission, that we're on mission together, and two, that we're prepared and excited and envisioning that day when we multiply, when we birth a new group out. We want this to happen. What has happened when the Bocal Gospel Community Group just multiplied in two ways, and that's happening right now. What I have seen and what I have learned is, yes, people were excited and joyful about it to some degree, but there was still an underlying sense of, oh man, the group is splitting. There wasn't a vision there, and this was my failure as a leader. There wasn't a vision there and an excitement there to see gospel communities multiply for the glory of God and the fame of Christ. And so we want to fix that, and we want to get better at that. And so as leaders, we have to cast vision. And so over the next few months, I'm going to be giving you practical steps and practical resources, and we're going to be step by step talking about what it looks like to multiply our gospel communities. But for today, and most importantly, vision is the most important thing. And so I want to talk to you real quick, some talking points about casting vision within your group. And this needs to be happening when your group prays, and when your group talks, and when your group is doing things together at all times, week in and week out. This vision is being the people are being reminded of our vision to multiply groups. And here's some talking points for why multiplication is so important. Overarching all of this is the gospel. This is about the glory of God, the fame of Christ, the spread of the gospel. We want to see people everywhere, every tribe, tongue, and nation, but specifically within our tri-state area, people coming in contact with the gospel message. And so they see that with skin on it within our gospel community groups. And so we want as many people impacted by this as possible. That overarches all of this. That's why we want our gospel communities to multiply, so that there's a spreading impact of the gospel with skin on it through gospel community groups. But here's a couple talking points. One, the main one, overarching kind of all, or kind of a subheader, but still over top of them all, really important below gospel and glory of God and fame of Christ, is for the church to grow, groups must multiply. It's inevitable. It has to happen. If the church is growing, there will be multiplication. And so we want our church to grow because we want the impact of the gospel, the impact of the glory of God and the fame of Christ to grow in our tri-state area. That means we want the church to grow, and because we want the church to grow, we will see multiplication. It's inevitable. So for the church to grow, groups must multiply. Secondly, meaningful relationships with God and meaningful relationships with people happen in smaller groups when it comes to our weekly gatherings. And those weekly gatherings, it's just simple math. You think about 20 people having 90 minutes to kind of dig deep into their lives versus 10 people having 90 minutes to dig deep into their lives. That's twice as much time for a group of 10 people per individual. So there's more time to go deep in those weekly gatherings. And also for the leader, because our gospel communities are not just about the weekly event, it's about plugging into each other's lives beyond the weekly event in real and meaningful gospel-centered ways. But as a leader, that becomes a lot less of a whip to make sure and keep tabs on your people and ensure that they're getting plugged in to meaningful relationships like that outside of the weekly gathering. It becomes easier with a smaller group as well. So that's important, meaningful relationships. So the church grows, meaningful relationships are formed as groups multiply. If group multiplication is the goal from the beginning, then there's a shared energy. We've talked about this as we desire to get our groups on mission, because as groups serve on mission together, relationships grow, bonds grow together as we serve towards a common goal, surge towards a common goal together. Multiplication is the same way. If from the beginning, from day one, we are seeking to see these groups multiply, to birth new groups out, then we'll see an energy that is only accomplished in that way. This creates leadership vacuums when we desire for our groups to grow, that our groups to multiply. That means we need leadership, and when there's leadership opportunities available, then the Holy Spirit is able to bring out new leaders. So we see new leaders come up through this as well. So leadership development is a huge benefit to group multiplication. That creates opportunities for more new Christians and more people to be brought into community groups. As groups multiply, there's more space for us to invite folks in to our gospel community groups, therefore spreading the impact of the gospel. It's just a satisfying accomplishment. Not exactly, this isn't an exact comparison, but it is similar in a lot of ways. But just like having a child, there's pain there, at least that's what my wife told me, and there's a lot of, it's hard work. However, there is a satisfaction that comes with it, and there is a sense of accomplishment and a sense of joy that comes with it. And it's the same way as gospel communities multiply and are birthed out. We see that satisfaction and that joy that's there. And then when group leaders birth a new group, there is that sense of full potential of their leadership has been realized. So not only have they been able to lead a group, but they've been able to train up another leader, replace themselves, and multiply them out. So all that's exciting. So let's start casting vision now to get this in the DNA of our people. And I'm going to be giving you practical tips and practical helps with how we can do that. But those are your talking points and the overarching skeleton or skeletal structure of talking points for the vision of gospel community multiplication. Thanks for taking time to watch this. Love you guys. Pray for Josh Early and Victor Monheim today. Pray for Tom Rushton tomorrow as these groups launch. Thanks so much.